Good afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am jeffgrantMEDIA, and today I'm joined by Duke Magookin the Pupper. He decided to follow me up here into the room today, but today we will be talking about the newly redesigned Flint and Tinder Hudson jacket. Now, Huckberry did send me this jacket as a sample for review, but all the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, and I did not share this content with Huckberry prior to publication. They will see this when you do. So, I did have the old version of the Hudson, so the new version that recently came out about, I think, a month ago. It's still really new. I really like a lot of the updates that have been made to the jacket. Has actually made this jacket one of my favorites, and I've been wearing this quite a bit lately. We will get into why and how I have been wearing it, but let's start by breaking down the upgrades from V1 into V2. And to start, the most noticeable difference between V1 and V2 is the addition of the hood. Now, this hood has come in incredibly handy for me as we have moved into our cold but rainy season here. So I've been pairing this jacket with my Flint and Tinder wax trucker baseball cap, and I have been staying nice and dry thanks to the addition of the hood. And the next most noticeable difference, and in my opinion an upgrade that I really wanted to see from V1, is the lined collar. Now, the V1 did have an unlined collar on the top side. That would be the side that would touch your neck if you flipped it up. And it did have a lined underside, where it is now vice versa for V2, where it has a moleskin lined collar, while the underside is unlined. But now that the underside is unlined, there is the addition of a strap here, so if you are in a high wind area, you can actually secure the collar around your neck and chin area so you can continuously stay warm and not let that cold air blow down or blow the hood off your head. After that, the thing that I noticed directly in the unboxing was the fact that there are now pit vents in the V2, which is something that I thought was a good idea, and now that I have worn this jacket quite a bit, I think is a great idea because wax canvas does not breathe. That is the whole point of a waxed canvas layer. So when you are out and about moving around in, say, the rainy conditions and you want to stay dry, you are building up body heat that now can escape through the dry area underneath your arms, because your armpits are one of your highest points on your body that you expel heat from. Now let's get into the overall materials of the jacket. The V1 was made from a British Millerain Tech Wax Evolution 8 material, where the V2 is made from a Haley Stevenson dry finish waxed canvas. And while this is a dry finish wax canvas, it does still have a bit of a wet feel to it. Not quite that of the wax trucker, but it certainly has that cooler, damper feeling to it that a wax jacket generally has. The cuffs on the V2, much like the V1, are lined, but instead of being corduroy lined, the V2 has a moleskin liner on the cuffs, which is the same moleskin liner that we see on the top side of the collar. Now, the only difference that I found between V1 and V2 that I do not like is the addition of the nylon lining in the sleeves. The V1 had the full flannel lining through the body and the sleeves, where V2 has nylon lining in the sleeves. While I do appreciate the fact that the nylon allows me to slide this jacket on and off much easier while wearing long sleeves, especially something like a sweater or a flannel, I personally prefer to have a flannel lining throughout the body and the sleeves. I just find it to be more comfortable, and I do generally like the overall aesthetic of the flannel lining in the sleeves. For a point of reference, I am 5'9", roughly 175 to 180 pounds, and I am wearing a size large in the Hudson. Now, the addition of the hood is something that I personally really like, and I have been using quite a bit, but I know not everyone likes a hood. But this hood, it's a snap-on, snap-off, so I can easily pop it right off, no problem. And then I don't have the hood, I can leave this at home, and I still have a nice collared jacket that I can wear. So if you don't want the hood, you can see there are just 4 snaps, so it easily comes off and goes right back on. Now, one of the downsides of the hood is sometimes when I'm taking the jacket off and I'm going to hang it up, I'm trying to fish for the locker loop that's inside, and sometimes I will accidentally grab it kind of by the edge of the hood and it will pop the hood off. That's happened to me 2, maybe 3 times in the past month that I've had it. It happened, I think, initially the first week or so I had it, and then once, like a couple of days ago, I was kind of just juggling the jacket and I had a bunch of stuff in my hand and I just grabbed the hood wrong and it just popped off. The hood stayed in my hand, the jacket fell to the ground. But it's just something to know that while it does pop on and off easily, if you do grab it by the hood at the wrong angle, the hood will pop off and the jacket will fall to the ground. But the overall styling and features that are in this jacket, this is a very old English British style jacket. When I very first time I saw the V1, I said that is something I can see them wearing on Downton Abbey when they go duck hunting, and that's because we have this big pass-through game pocket. So this big pocket back here is where you would stick your duck once you get it when you're hunting. Now it is flannel lined, and I honestly never used it for anything. It's cool. I like having it there because I like having the option to maybe stuff a duck in my jacket, but I've never actually used it for anything on the V1 nor in the V2. So while it does have this styling of a very classic British jacket, in the modern world, for the average person that's going to be wearing this, most likely in the suburbs and in the city, it doesn't really have a function, but it's just kind of cool to have. And if someone asks you, you can say, yeah, that's my game pocket where I can stuff my duck. Now, I can find this actually being kind of useful for me, at least in the city. We just did take a trip to Philly. I didn't wear this jacket because it was really cold, so I wore a heavier jacket, but little Miss Hazel Fantastic always sheds her hat and her scarves and her gloves, so that would actually probably be a good place for me to start sticking all of this stuff when I run out of pocket space. But while we're talking about the pocket space, that's the only other like negative or point of note I have, is that I often lose my keys because there's too many pockets. I am right-handed. Now I generally like to try to put my car keys in this pocket here, but because there are 3 pockets all kind of layered on top of each other, I can feel that my keys are there, but if I'm doing it without looking, if my hands are full, sometimes I'll stick it in this pocket on accident. I can't find my car keys. So sometimes I will lose my car keys in the jacket because there's just too many pockets. I can feel it if I pat the jacket, but I don't know exactly what pocket my car keys are in. And I had the exact same problem with the V1, was I said that there was just too many pockets. You could lose your stuff very easily, and it's just because the 3 pockets are layered on top of each other. But other than that, there have been actually no issues with this jacket whatsoever, and I really do like the upgrades that have been brought into V2. One of them was the popped collar, because when you need to have that collar popped, especially when you flip the hood up, the bare wax canvas was what would be touching your skin. Now the old version did not have the hood, but when it was windy and I wanted to pop my collar, I was now putting a cold piece of wax canvas against my bare skin. Now they lined the cuffs in the old one, but they didn't line the top side of the collar. Now the wax canvas makes a better windbreak, so when I have it flipped and the wind is hitting the wax canvas, that's making a better windbreak than the V1 that had that, I believe it was like a light wool liner underneath, or a chambray liner. So that liner that was underneath wasn't doing much because the cold wax canvas would make a better windbreak, and the nice, now that I think about it, I think it was chambray material would have felt much better against the neck. Now this moleskin feels great, so when you're flipping the hood up or not wearing the hood and you pop the collar, that feels really, really nice against the skin. Now, how would you wear this jacket? Now this is certainly a more classy or classic style jacket. So this is something that I'm going to wear if I want to dress up a little bit. Now, I am a very casual dresser, so I don't really dress up a lot, but the Hudson fits into, I think, a wider variety of settings than something like the Wax Trucker, which is one of my absolute favorite jackets, by the way, but you can dress this up a lot more than you can with the Wax Trucker, just because it has a more classic English style look to it. So if I were to work in an office building that had a stricter dress code where I had to dress at least business casual all the time instead of wearing jeans to work, I would certainly be able to fit into the office much better in the Hudson than I'd say the Wax Trucker jacket, because this is a classy or classic looking style of a jacket. And then after work, me and my buddies can go out duck hunting. But how have I been wearing the Hudson? Well, I wear it just like any other jacket. I'll wear it to work, I'll wear it out and about with the family, I'll wear it doing just about anything, but the place that I have found that this jacket really shines, this has basically taken over for my rain slicker, because it's getting a little colder out, so just wearing a shell of a rain jacket hasn't been cutting it nearly as much lately. Now, as I walk around, yes, I will build up body heat, and wearing a rain jacket will generally make me pretty warm underneath and oftentimes sweat, so the pit vents come in very handy for that. But the fact that this is a wax canvas jacket, it does really, really well in the rain, and I have worn this in a lot of rainstorms lately. This has been my go-to rain jacket basically for the past month that I have had it, and I simply just throw on a hat, and oftentimes if it's real cold, I will wear a sweatshirt because I'm wearing a baseball cap in the rain to keep the rain off my glasses. I will put the sweatshirt hood up, and then I will put the Hudson hood up, and the Hudson hood does a great job. It comes down far enough on the actually to the bill of the hat, so it will completely cover up any sweatshirt hood that I have, so my sweatshirt hood isn't getting wet. I generally combine this with my Flint and Tinder waxed trucker hat, which is downstairs by the door where I need it, when I need it. So I will generally just wear that hat, because then all the water basically beads off and I come home completely dry. And I've been in a lot of downpours now with this jacket and basically this exact setup, and I have stayed completely dry. I've not gotten wet at all. And again, this has been my go-to rain jacket, more or less, for the past month that I have had it, because we have been getting quite a bit of rain lately, because November and December in Pennsylvania cannot decide if it wants to be spring, summer, fall, or winter. So we can have 60-degree days and rainy, and we can have 20-degree days and rainy, or potentially a blizzard. And then if I'm just wearing this jacket casually and going to work and not wearing it in a rainstorm, what I will generally do is I will take this bottom zipper and I will loosen that a little bit, and it gives you a little bit more breathing room. And the reason that there is a double-sided zipper on this jacket in most jackets is because when you sit down, it allows the jacket to kind of flay out, if you will, on your lap, so you're not doesn't feel tight or restricted. Because if this jacket did not have a double zipper, this is a coat actually, because it's longer. A jacket is waist length, a coat is 3/4 length. So if this was zipped all the way down to the bottom, which is going to help to keep the wind from coming up the back, because it's going to be snugger. But when you sit down, you kind of have a tendency to sit on the jacket or coat a little bit more. Then you have to do the adjustment, and you're kind of restricted or bunched up here. So if you just unzip it a little bit, when you sit down, I'm not sitting on the back of the jacket, and it flays out nicely over the lap, so I can sit more comfortably in a car. Or a lot of riding jackets will have this on motorcycles for when you're sitting on your motorcycle, especially if you have highway pegs and your feet are out. A double-sided zipper is really nice for something like riding as well. So this is kind of how I will casually wear it. It's just a little bit more comfortable. It gives you a little bit more range of motion, and then when you sit down, like in the car, you're not kind of crunched up, bunched up, or sitting on the back of the coat. So overall, the V2 of the Hudson has been awesome. I liked the V1. If you want to look back to my initial unboxing, I did not expect to ever have the Hudson. I was actually supposed to get the Flint and Tinder Rancher jacket. This is the Flint and Tinder Rancher jacket. If I can open this one. So this is the forest / dark oak colorway. So, ooh, this is not the Rancher. So even though the DC did accidentally send me the Hudson, I ended up keeping it, using it, testing it, and I really liked it. Even though it wasn't my style is more something like a waxed trucker jacket or like a Type 3 denim jacket. I kept the V1 of the Hudson, and I liked it, and I wore it, and it wore really well. But I did have a few upgrades that I would like to have made to it, and most of them have been implemented in the V2. Namely, I really, really wanted to see this cuff be lined on the top side. So again, when you're flipping it up or wearing the hood, the nice material is against the skin and not the cold, clammy wax canvas being against the skin. So it's great having this moleskin. Moleskin is really nice. So having that against the bare skin and being an upgrade from the V1 into the V2, I really, really like. So overall, do I think that the new version of Hudson is worth $368? And yeah, I honestly do. This is a great jacket, or sorry, this is a great coat. It's the longer, it's a coat version. But I like this a lot. It has been amazing in the rain. I have now worn this in probably 5 to 7 like good hot heavy rainstorms as like a rain jacket, walking Duke for a mile to a mile and a half in the rain, and I was completely dry. And it did not wet out for me walking around in excessive heavy rain for upwards of 45 minutes in a clip. So yeah, overall, I am very satisfied with the Hudson. I liked the V1. I really, really like the additions that they have made to V2, namely this lined collar and the hood. Amazing additions to this jacket, or coat, I'm sorry. It makes it so much more functional, and it still retains that nice classic English style. And you can remove the hood again if you want to take this hood off. It just pulls right off. It snaps on and off very, very easily. And then, you know, if you want to go duck hunting after you're done with the office, you can take care of that too. You and your buddies can go out, you know, maybe shoot some dinner and then have some bourbons and cook up some duck at the campfire and kick back and relax and have a good evening. But yes, I do recommend the Flint and Tinder Hudson jacket. V2 has been a nice addition to the collection, and I'm very satisfied with the upgrades that they have made to it. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications the next time I post a brand new video. Good night.